Hello and welcome to my channel, Alana Kane Yoga. So today is going to be focused on a quick yin practice, just around 30 minutes, that you can do after sitting for a long time, whether it's at your desk or maybe traveling. I'm a digital nomad, so I'm flying and on trains and traveling all the time. So if you're sitting and maybe hunched over, working at your desk, this is a practice that can counteract that a little bit and help kind of release some tension in your shoulders, your neck, and your hips as well. We're gonna hold the poses for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. We're practicing yin, so it's a little different from your typical yoga class, but it's going to work our deep connective tissue that is a little more rigid and harder to move than a muscle, so that's why we hold it longer. So you might feel a deeper release, an emotional, physical, and energetic release in your body. So just kind of notice that as you practice. If you've never practiced yin before, I'll put a video up here so you can learn maybe a little more about the practice before you get started. And it's very relaxing and meditative, so just after maybe a rough, long day, you can just come to your mat and enjoy the practice. You might need a wall close by, as well as maybe a block or a bolster, pillow of some sort. Okay, let's get into it. We will start with the child's pose. So great pose to start after a long day, to just kind of sink in, let it all go. Toes are touching, knees are coming wide, and just walk the hands down the mat in front of you. If you're feeling like you need supported a little bit, if you just want to completely relax for the first couple minutes, you can grab a bolster and put it under your chest. So just start to get comfortable here. Maybe rock the head side to side on the mat, that third eye center. Starting to deepen the breath here. Let's take one inhale together. Open the mouth and just let it go. And just come back, breathing, sinking in. Starting to let go of your day, anything that happened, starting to release tension in your mind and your body. Just starting to notice how the body feels in this pose, our starting point, noticing where you're holding tension, maybe areas that you don't notice at all. Just do a small little body scan here. Just do a nice and slow body scan, maybe starting at the fingertips and working your way all the way down to the toes. Starting to breathe deep into the belly. This is our Dantian breath. It's our life center of our breath. So what you want to do is inhale and direct all your breath into your belly. So in child's pose, you'll be able to feel your belly expanding. And then exhale as well, focusing on the belly, releasing. So from our child's pose, just start to walk the hands back towards you, find a seat, and let the legs come out in front of you. So we're gonna come into a nice forward fold here. So find a nice tall spine, and depending on what your goal is here, it might look a little different. So all we're gonna do is hinge from the hips and come forward. You might not come very far if your hamstrings are very tight. So you can stay here. If you have a lot of tension in the neck and back, which I'm assuming you do, we're gonna round the spine down. So even if you don't get very far, if you're here, still try to just round the spine, kind of release all that tension. And we'll be here for a few minutes. So just sink in. If you need some props, you can place them under you. Just letting the neck hang. And start to rise up very slowly and come down to that rebound pose, moving very slowly, laying down in a shavasana. And start to rise up nice and slowly, and we're gonna find a seated pose. So if your hips feel very tight, you can put maybe a blanket underneath your hips. And we're going to start by releasing some tension in the neck. And I'll give you the option, depending on how your hips are feeling. You can stay with your legs just in easy seated pose, or if you want, you can come into shoelace pose. So what that is just taking the right leg over the left, looking at the knees, working the feet away from each other. You can also come into it from a tabletop pose, crossing the right knee over the left and sitting back. Whatever way works best for you. So find your legs wherever they want to be. This is gonna work our hips a little bit. And simple, we're gonna do a neck stretch that you've probably done a million times, and we're just gonna practice it a bit differently and hold the pose. So we're gonna start by taking the left ear to the left shoulder, and if you want, you can walk that right hand out a bit. And find your edge, and we're just gonna hang out here. If you want a little extra pressure, you can bring the hand to the top of the head. In yin, we don't want to go too far past our edge. We just want to find a nice, comfortable spot we can hold, just as long as you're feeling it. So maybe close the eyes, just start to sink in here. So this is something that you can practice pretty much anywhere. You don't have to always include the legs. You can just do the neck stretch. Just maybe set a timer for 2 to 3 minutes and just kind of sit here and let the tension release from the whole neck and into the shoulder. Just a few more nice deep breaths here. And inhale the neck back to center. Unwrap the legs. And we'll switch sides. So the legs are in a different position. Left leg on top of right this time. Get into it, what feels good. You might need to prop yourself up as well. You might not look exactly like me. Find that nice tall spine, shoulders away from the ears, and this time take the right ear to the right shoulder, and then maybe extend that left arm out, and we're just gonna hang out for a couple moments. Just letting the body be heavy, no muscular movement here, just kind of sinking into the pose. And start to bring the head back to center, uncross the legs. And we're gonna go down to a Shavasana pose for a few moments to just let our body rebound and let the energy kind of reflow throughout the body. So move as little as possible. And we'll start to rise back out of that Shavasana pose, and we're going to come into our hips. So make your way to a tabletop. And we're going to come into a low lunge. So the right leg is going to swing to the inside of your fingertips. If that's too hard to get your foot underneath you, you can come from a downward facing dog. That's the way I prefer it. So right foot stepping forward, left knee is coming down to the mat. Great place to put a blanket or roll your mat under your knee. And we're looking for the knee over the ankle here. So get nice and balanced, and we're gonna rise up because we're gonna add some shoulders into this. Since it is a short yin practice, I'm gonna add in shoulders and legs together. You can do this on its own as well. So we just really are working this left hip. And we're going to take the arms and grab at the elbows behind you. So just notice which arm is on top because we're going to switch next round. Shoulders are coming away from the ears. And just breathe into it. So this one might feel quite intense. Whenever we're sitting at our desk all day, our leg is in the position of my right leg. So we're never hyperextending our left leg back too much. So this is a great pose to counteract that, and holding it in the yin-like manner is going to really get into that connective tissue that is surrounding our hip joints. If balance is hard here, just try to focus on something not moving. Is a bit of a more active pose, but I really want to give you the most bang for your buck in the poses. If at any point you want to release the arms and come to a more stable position, you can as well. You can also do these arms seated. So if you want to maybe just do this pose now and do the arms later, that's also an option. Just a few more breaths here. And we'll release the arms. Coming back to tabletop pose. Readjusting, and we're going to move to the other side. So left leg's coming to the front, either from down dog or that tabletop. Find the pose that works your legs. Working into that right groin. Blanket under the knee if needed. And rising up, choosing to do the arms. If not, just keep the hands on the ground. And this time, opposite arm is on top, so maybe the left one. That's not your dominant. And just breathe in. Enjoying the sounds of the jungle here in Sri Lanka. I release. Maybe releasing stress, tension, emotional pain. Releasing on every exhale. Just a few more breaths here. And I'm just going to come down if they're not already there. And we're gonna make our way to our bellies here, just laying down for a few moments, letting the body recalibrate. All right, our next pose is gonna be a back bend. So if you have a sensitive back, just kind of notice how the body feels as we get into this. We're coming to Sphinx. So we're walking our elbows right underneath the shoulders. And the tops of our feet are down onto the mat. And the shoulder position here is kind of do a shoulder roll. So shoulder blades are down the back, away from the ears, and then you can dip the chest. So shoulders stay right where they are. So if you notice the movement here, chest towards the ground. So we're not going like this. Shoulders are tucked back, and then the chest drops. So this is combating all of that slouching that we might all be guilty of, looking at the computer all day. So neck can be high, it can be low, just depends on what your body needs. Just find that deep belly breathing here. Releasing all the muscles in the legs, just really focusing on the back bending. We'll hold this one for about 1 more minute, and we're going to deepen it with 1 more variation. So just continue breathing here. If you're feeling great in this pose, then you can start to straighten the elbows to come into seal pose, a little bit deeper of a back bend. Again, shoulders still away from the ears. If you have any pain or pinchiness, come back down to Sphinx. We'll hold this for about 1 minute. And we'll start to slowly come back down to the mat, just resting your head on the mat or maybe on the hands. Rebound pose. Our next move, we're going to stay on our bellies and we're going to open the shoulders and the chest. This is called open wing. And so I'll show you on the left side first just so you can see it. So our left arm is coming out right from our body. And we're going to take our right hand and push the body. So we're coming into a twist. Depending on how flexible your shoulder is, you might not even get onto the side of the body. It might just be something like that. So you can bend the knee, come behind you. This arm just kind of hangs out, and head can either hang or find a block or a pillow. And we'll start to rotate back onto our bellies and we'll switch sides. So this time right arm's coming right up from the shoulder and finding your edge of turning onto the body or maybe just staying slightly twisted. And just relax the head down and enjoy the stretch. And we'll make our way back to our bellies. And if you're close to the wall, this is where we're going to roll onto our back and find legs up a wall. If you don't have a wall near you, that's fine. You can do legs up the wall on the mat, like I'm about to do, or you can just come into Shavasana. This will be our final rest. I love legs up a wall because it reverses the blood flow in our legs, so if I'm sitting all day, it feels really great. So just come up with the legs. If you have the wall next to you, you're just going to come to the side, lay down, and then swing the legs up and over. You want your legs heavy here, just relaxing completely. Arms can be beside you, on your belly, doesn't matter. Releasing any tension. I invite you to stay in this Shavasana for as long as what feels good to you, but this will end my teaching, so thank you very much for tuning in. Be sure to go to my channel and subscribe if you want to see more yin videos. And again, thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you release some tension from sitting at your desk all day. Have a good one.